Hey everyone, how are you all doing? This tutorial is dedicated to the most complete marksman in the game, Beatrix. Beatrix is without a doubt the most versatile marksman in the game. That's thanks to her powerful kit of 4 weapons, which can be used in practically any type of situation. And the coolest part is that each of these weapons has its own unique name. But not everything is that simple. All this versatility can actually make her harder to play. Since each weapon has a different way of being used, it's very common to use the wrong weapon in certain situations. But don't worry, that changes today. Because in this video, I'll explain in a simple and detailed way how her passive and skills work. And at the end, I'll give you a super strong build and share a few tips to help you maximize your gameplay with this war machine called Beatrix. Passive. Unlike most marksmen, Beatrix doesn't deal critical damage, even if you buy items for it. Instead, she converts all critical chance into physical attack. But what does that mean? She converts 1% critical chance into 2 physical attack. Example: if you buy Haas's Claws, which gives 40 physical attack and 20% crit chance, that 20% crit chance will be converted into 40 physical attack. And this applies to all items that provide critical chance. Even though she has 4 weapons, Beatrix can only carry 2 at a time. To select which weapons you want to use, there's an extra skill for that. When you use this skill, all 4 weapons will appear, and you can switch them with a few taps. Remember, the weapons on the bottom row are the ones she will carry. Skills. One of Beatrix's biggest advantages is that she has an ultimate for each weapon. Since she has 4 weapons, I'll explain each one in 4 parts to make it easier to understand. As skills 1 and 2 don't change depending on the weapon, I'll start with those. Skill 1. Beatrix's first skill is used to switch between the 2 weapons she is carrying. But that's not all. What most people don't know is that it also increases her physical attack when used. Did you know that? Skill 2. Skill 2 is basically a dash. But just like Skill 1, it has a second effect. To understand how this works, there's one important detail about Beatrix you need to know. Her basic attacks have a limited number of charges. These charges vary depending on the weapon. And when the charges run out, she needs to reload. That can be pretty annoying at times. But when you use Skill 2, she reloads automatically. This will save you in many situations. Now that we understand how Skills 1 and 2 work, let's take a look at how each of Beatrix's weapons and ultimate abilities function. Nibiru. Nibiru's basic attack fires 4 bullets. Among her 4 weapons, this is the only one that automatically targets enemies, without the need to aim manually. For her ultimate, Beatrix fires 10 bursts of bullets, dealing continuous damage in the designated area. Bennett. Unlike Nibiru, Bennett works basically like a grenade launcher. Its explosions deal area damage and slow down enemies' hit. In her ultimate, Beatrix launches multiple grenades over a large area, dealing heavy damage and applying a slow effect. Renner is a high-damage sniper rifle, especially powerful in the late game. Despite its long range, its basic attacks don't auto-lock onto targets. You have to aim manually to use it effectively. With her ultimate, Beatrix aims and fires a shot with even greater range and extremely high damage. Although it's the hardest weapon to master, mastering it can significantly improve your gameplay with Beatrix. Wesker. If you thought Renner's damage was high, let me introduce you to Wesker. Although it has reduced range, that's compensated by its massive burst damage. Its basic attack deals area damage in a fan-shaped spread. Her ultimate is similar, but with significantly higher damage. Wesker is perfect for eliminating squishy targets like mages, marksmen, and enemy assassins. Combos. Beatrix has practically an endless number of combos. Because of her 4 weapons, the options are quite vast, but to keep it simple, I'll bring 2 basic combos that are more than enough to carry your matches. Combo 1. Double Ult. This combo consists of hitting the enemy with two ultimates at the same time using Bennett and Nibiru. It's very simple to perform. First, you use Bennett's ultimate and quickly switch weapons with the first skill. Then, use Nibiru's ultimate to finish the enemy. This is the simplest and most commonly used combo by most players. Combo 2, Bye-Bye. For this combo, you will use only Wesker. It consists of hitting the enemy 3 times quickly. Ideally, you should be in a bush to be more effective. First, you use a basic attack, then the ultimate, and to finish, another basic attack. Using it this way, the enemy will hardly survive. Build. Beatrix is a marksman focused on burst damage. Items like Blade of Despair and Sea Halberd are essential in her build. The Malefic Gun and Haas Claws are also always in my build. Wind of Nature is good, depending on the enemy's composition. Emblems. Personally, I recommend using the Assassin emblem because of the bonus damage and penetration. I don't recommend the Marksman emblem because your early game becomes very weak. The talents I use are Thrill for the extra physical attack, Master Assassin, which also boosts damage, and finally, Quantum Charge to give that nice mobility. The only spell I recommend using on her is Flash, regardless of the situation. This is the build I use in most of my matches. Feel free to use and adapt it according to your playstyle. As promised at the beginning of the video, here are some tips to boost your gameplay with Beatrix. Beatrix has a pretty strong early game compared to most other marksmen. At the start, I recommend using Bennett to farm faster and also to deny farm from the enemy. This early pressure is one of Beatrix's main advantages. To further enhance this pressure, you can start building a damage item instead of boots. Many times, I don't even buy boots, but of course that's situational. Beatrix fits well in practically any composition, as she stands out both in 1 versus 1 fights and team fights, and you need to know how to take advantage of this versatility. Bennett's ultimate is great in objective fights because of its area damage. Renner's ultimate also secures many kills, although it's a bit hard to hit at first. If you manage to get ahead early on, Wesker is the best option to stomp the game. In the late game, her ultimate comes back in basically 10 seconds. A valuable tip, always keep an eye on the weapon's ammo. It can save you many times. And don't hesitate to use ultimates to clear waves or secure objectives. Ultimates are something she'll never lack. Like the video? Smash that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.